What's up everyone, China Cycling here today, and today just a quick look at this guy. This is the G Plus from Xingzhe. Now I'm just doing a quick look on this one because this is the Chinese version and the international version should be coming out soon, so I'll save the review for the international version. But I'm really pumped for this guy. Why? Because this guy is just a super cheap GPS cycling computer. This guy on Kickstarter last month was going for less than $30 US, and you're getting a whole lot of stuff for your money. In China, this version, the G Plus, is also $30, but they also have another version, the standard G, which is the equivalent of just $15. It's just 99 kwai, which I think is great because, like I've said before in my videos, I think cycling should be for everyone, and I think training should be for everyone, and segment hunting on Strava should be for everyone. So to bring those things to people for just like $30 is amazing. So this is the part of the video where I pretend I've not actually opened it before, and I pretend this is the first time opening it, but it isn't. And I pretend this is the first time taking this off, which it isn't. And wow, yeah, the first thing you notice about this guy is just how light he is. If you're worried about the weight of your GPS head unit, like, this guy is for you. This guy is super light, super small too. So to give you an idea of just how small this guy is, like, this is a Garmin Edge 510, smaller than that. This is a Wahoo Element Bolt. And you can see, yeah, pretty much the same size as a Wahoo Element Bolt, a bit thinner. Obviously the screen's not as big as the Element Bolt, but if you can compare it to a bigger guy like this, the Explorer X5 Evo Magine edition, like, wow, this thing's tiny. Like, this is the same size as the screen on this, and noticeably lighter too. So if you're building a super light climbing bike, this might be the guy to get. So the company behind this head unit, Xingzhe, their international name is XOSS. They're basically the Chinese version of Strava in terms of they have an app which everyone in China uses, which does similar sort of things of Strava. So it tracks your rides, and there are segments on there, etc., etc. Last year on my channel, I featured a review of this guy, which was their first head unit, the XOSS Sprint. You can go back and check out that video. There was lots of things I liked about this, lots of things I didn't like about this, but most of the flaws that I pointed out of this in the original video, such as the battery life that wasn't living up to what they claimed, and a bunch of other bugs, they actually released a firmware update for this and solved most of those problems. You can check out the release notes for the firmware update or whatever, but yeah, almost all the problems with this I mentioned in that video, they actually fixed in a firmware update, so kudos to them. And so with this, the G, or the G Plus, being their second head unit now, I think they've definitely learned a lot from what they did with the Sprint. And if they keep updating with firmware like they do with that guy, I'm sure it's gonna be no problem. So yeah, let's talk about specs. So on the G Plus version, it uses 4 different satellite systems. So it's got American GPS, it's got Russian GLONASS, it's got Chinese Beidou, and it's got European Galileo, all in this tiny thing. There are 3 different pages of information on here. It's fully waterproof, it's got Bluetooth 5.0 and ANT Plus. So it cannot connect to your power meters because, you know, if you're buying a $30 head unit, you probably don't have a power meter. But it can connect to heart rate sensors, and it can connect to cadence sensors. It's also got, it says app support, and what that is just for their Xingzhe app or their XOSS app if you're using the international version. And the XOSS app supports syncing to both Strava and Training Peaks. So any rides you're doing on this thing can go to up to Strava, up to Training Peaks, no problem. And so yeah, looking at the back of the box, it says this thing is just 49 grams. So yeah, super light. But let's have a look. So again, this is a $30 head unit. So as you can see, the display is this 8-segment display kind of thing. It's not like a pixel-based LCD display like a normal head unit. So obviously to keep costs down, they're using this. But as long as you've got all the data on there you need, like, we can start a ride here. Obviously I'm inside, so I've got no GPS signal here. But here you've got your speed at the top, and then we've got your distance here. You've got your heart rate and your cadence. So I don't have a heart rate monitor set up now or a cadence sensor, but we'll have a look. And here you've got your total distance, so your odometer. So I'm actually wearing my heart rate monitor right now because who doesn't wear a heart rate monitor when they're doing a review? And it says to pair with heart rate monitors or cadence sensors, you lung press these 2 guys. So let's see what happens. Okay, some searching maybe, flashing. This is generally the first time I've done this, so we'll see. Yep, so found my heart rate monitor at 68 beats per minute, boom. And I'm guessing it's still searching for a speed sensor, and it's searching for a cadence sensor. But yeah, I'm not on a bike, so I don't have those. So how do I go back? There's this guy? Nope. This guy? Nope. Oh no. What am I doing? Okay, so long press both buttons to get back to the main screen. So yeah, so now I've got my heart rate on here, 62 beats per minute. I'm nervous. So mine's obviously in Chinese because this is the Chinese version. On Kickstarter, I saw they have an English version. But obviously on this first screen, so we've got the speed, we've got the time of this ride, we've got the heart rate, we've got the total distance, and we've got the cadence. And then if we go to the next screen on here, so this is going to be your average speed, this is going to be your current altitude, this is your average heart rate, this is the slope you're on, the gradient, and this is your average cadence. And then on the third screen, we've got your maximums. So this is your maximum speed so far, your maximum heart rate so far, and your maximum cadence so far. And on your left, we're gonna have the clock, the time of day. So I've got no GPS signal at the minute, so it doesn't know the time. And this is gonna be, again, your total mileage. So pretty simple data, but probably all you need, right? You know, if you're out riding and you just want to see your numbers as you're riding, your speed, your average speed, your distance, your heart rate, I think, you know, it's got everything you need on the basic thing. So most cheap head units, they don't use satellites. They just use the sensors on the wheel. And, you know, you have to tell it your wheel size and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so this guy, you don't have to tell it your wheel size. You don't have to have magnets on your bike. You don't have to have wires on your bike. Obviously, it's fully wireless and it's just using the GPS. So it's rated as IPX7 waterproof. I actually tested that the other day. I was using it in the rain and yeah, no problems. It's got a backlight on there. It's got an automatic backlight. You can kind of see it shining over there. So that goes off in the daytime, I think, when you're riding. But if it's doing things like searching for GPS, I think it stays on. But battery life on this guy is super impressive. I claimed 25 hours. And I can believe that because this 8-segment display is going to be using hardly any power. I was actually thinking, with it being so small and so light, it seems to be like a perfect backup head unit for doing like an Everest. So, you know, turn it on, put it in your back pocket while you're doing your Everesting. It's going to have your heart rate data. It's not going to have your power data, but just as a backup, you know, if your main head unit runs out of power, this guy's going to keep going for like 25 hours. And it's super light and super small, so it's not going to get in the way. So I think so many different uses for this little guy. You know, if you've already got a Wahoo, if you've already got a Garmin, I don't think this is aimed at you, yeah? This is a $30 head unit. It's aimed at people who need their first head unit. You know, maybe at the moment you're using Strava on your phone to do your rides, but it sucks your power from your phone and you're scared your phone's going to fall off if it's on the front of your bike or something. So I think this is aimed at those kind of riders, you know. You're going to be able to see your speed, you're going to be able to see what you're doing, and it's going to record your ride for you, and it's going to sync to Strava, and, you know, it's not going to break the bank. I don't know about you guys, but often I go to races and sometimes I forget my Wahoo, or I forget my Wahoo mount, and it being a Wahoo, everyone else is using Garmin, it's super hard to find a mount to use. And so I think this is 30 bucks, you know, you can just buy it and just keep it in your race bag. And if you forget your nice GPS, it's just a nice backup GPS. But anyway, we can talk about this all day, but let's go try it out on the bike. So because I'm using the Chinese hardware, I'm going to use the Chinese app, Xingzhe. Let's have a look in here. And so, yeah, if we go into here, it's listed. I've already paired this. So if I hit connect, let's have a look. Okay, so it's coming across as moving, so I guess I should pause this first. Let's end that ride. Okay, so connected now. I've got a few rides on here. One's pretty long. I went on a long loop, 380k. This is pretty small. Let's see how long this start. Importing, there we go. So yeah, a few little bugs. Yeah. So this 50k ride is taking a bit of time to import, huh?
One eternity later.
This is like watching paint dry. So it's taking like a minute to import. This next one is just 7k. Let's see how long it takes to import. Okay, clock is ticking. Let's look. Okay, so that 7k one took like 11, 12 seconds, which means it's doing less than a kilobyte per second. Less than a kilobyte per second, this 380 kilobyte file, that's obviously gonna take like almost 4 or 5 minutes to sync. So, yeah. After your ride, I guess you can just start it syncing and just leave it there and go change your clothes, go take a shower or whatever. But yeah, this sync speed is pretty bad. Apparently the syncing is a bit quicker on Apple and it hasn't been optimized for Android yet, but we'll see. The mount on the back is their own proprietary looking mount, but it actually works fine with Garmin mounts. I've tried it on all my Garmin compatible mounts and it goes on and off no problem. So this guy actually had a Kickstarter project last month and they got like more than 600 backers and $30,000. And I think all those guys are going to be happy. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to get what you're going to pay for. You can't expect a $30 head unit to give you the same performance as like a $300 head unit. But as long as you know what you're getting yourself in for, I think this is going to be a great choice. If you want a cheap and cheerful head unit that can do most of the things that a bigger guy can do, I don't think you can go wrong with this guy. Some people may feel a bit burned by the old XOSS Sprint. Like I say, I think the firmware update fixed most of those issues, but if you are concerned, I'd wait till people start receiving this and see what their impressions are before you start pulling the trigger. But for the price, I definitely can't complain. A $30 head unit, it's cheap, the battery lasts a long time, it's got your heart rate, it's got your speed, it's got your cadence. I think it's a great beginner entry-level GPS computer. As I said before, I love that these days it's not just a race to see who can make the best, who can make the most expensive, and people are pumping out this cheap stuff, you know, letting everyone get into cycling. Cycling shouldn't just be for the rich, shouldn't just be for the first world countries, it should be for everyone, yeah? However, of course, we all do like our juicy tech, so at the minute I'm also reviewing this guy, the Magene edition of the Explorer X5 Evo. So yeah, big, nice, fancy touchscreen, but also with a camera in here. This guy can control your Magene trainer. It can do like syncing with the Magene website, which also is kind of like the Training Peaks website. So they're building like a full ecosystem with hardware in terms of power meters, static trainers, computers, and they've got software going on there now with their own training plans and stuff. So I'm super interested to see how this guy is going to turn out. If you want my full review on this, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you see that when that comes out. Other than that, China cycling out.